life of people not only in Niger State but also.
Still a chance for Iron Robin. It's
let him shoot. No problem.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. And this is Gallery TV News update at 4 am early On the news headlines, Buhari orders ministers with political ambition to resign immediately. Court sets aside judgment on Section 8412 of Electoral Act. Anambra traders protest dissolution of market escorts. And still on the news, senators to intervene in ASU strike for 2009 agreement, says Lawal. Federal government begins rehabilitation work on Lagos Bridge. And on business news, Nigerian and 10 ECOWAS countries in debt stress. On sports news, Anyashi bags National Productivity Award. And on foreign news, Al Jazeera journalist killed during Israel West Bank raid. And on the news in details, Buhari orders ministers with political ambition to resign immediately. President Muhammad Buhari has ordered all ministers with political ambition in 2023 general election to resign from their present appointments immediately. The order was handed down today, Wednesday, 11th April 2022, during the weekly Federal Executive Council FEC meeting at the Presidential Villa, Aso Rock, Abuja. The meeting is still ongoing at the time of writing this story. Court set aside judgment on Section 8412 of Electoral Act. The Court of Appeal Abuja Division has set aside the judgment of the Federal High Court in Umuahia, which void the provision of Section 8412 of the Electoral Act 2022. While delivering judgment on Wednesday, the three-member panel headed by Justice Hama Baka heard that the Federal High Court Umuahia had no jurisdiction to have entertained the case at the plaintiff. Nduka added they lacked the local standing to have filed the suit in the first instance. The court added that Minister Edede did not establish any course of action to have warranted him approaching the court on the issue because he did not establish that he was directly affected by the provision. The Court of Appeal struck out the suit with Edede filed before the Umuahia court. Determining the appeal, the appellate court, however, held that the provision is unconstitutional because it violates Section 48(1)(a) of the Constitution and denied a class of Nigerian citizens their right to participate in an election. Anambra traders protest dissolution of market escorts. Traders in Onitsha, Anambra State has threatened revolution following the recent dissolution of the elected executive members of the market by the state government. This followed a meeting held on Tuesday by trustees and sectional heads of the markets, during which they passed a resolution asking the state governor, Professor Chukuma Soludo, to reinstate the chief Ndubisi Ochiogu-led executive of the market. The market was among the 32 markets whose executive members were recently sacked by the state government. The State Commissioner for Commerce and Industry, Dr. Obina Ngonadi, had last week announced the dissolution of caretaker committees of 30 markets in the state and elected leadership of two other markets, including Ose, Awodu, and Owaru markets, saying that they could be replaced while fresh elections were conducted in two markets with contentious leadership. But the action of the government in dissolution process did not go down well with the trustees, sectional heads, stakeholders, and the entire traders of Ochiogo-led Obuaru Market Traders Association, as they demand the reinstatement of the executive, or there will be a revolution by angry traders. They demand that the democratically elected executive should be exempted from the dissolution, as according to them, the election of January 25th, 2022, which brought them into office, was conducted in credible, transparent, free, and fair manner. The chairman of the market sectional head, Mr. Emmanuel Nwadibia, said that the entire market was saddened by the state government decision to sack democratically elected executive members of the market. Senate to intervene in ASU strike for 2009 agreement, says Lawal. The president of the Senate, Ahmed Lawal, has said that the federal government's 2009 agreement with the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, was signed in error. Lawal said that this during a meeting with the leadership of the National Association of the Nigerian Students, led by its president, Asefun Sunday Adebayo, at the National Assembly Complex in Abuja. However, there is a ray of hope for the quick resolution of the going crisis between the federal government and the academic staff of Union of Universities, ASU, as the Senate promised to intervene and resolve the controversy amicably. The meeting between the Senate President and the leadership of NANS was facilitated by Bishop Dr. Sunday Onoha with a view to prevent Nigerian students from ongoing protests to disrupt public infrastructures. The Senate President described the ASU disagreement with the federal government as a serious issue that have negative impact on the future of Nigerian students and that of the development of the country in general. He noted that the bone of the contention is the 2009 agreement signed with ASU by the previous administration, adding that it had now dawned on every party involved that the 2009 agreement is not realistic. Still on the news, federal government begins rehabilitation work on Lagos Bridge. The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola-San, yesterday appealed for stakeholders' understanding over the discomfort they could experience during rehabilitation work on some bridges in Lagos State. Fashola made this appeal at a stakeholders meeting on the comprehensive repair of Eko and Akbabon Bridge held at Ijoru Olopa in Lagos. Stakeholders in attendance include representatives of the Association of Maritime Truck Owners, AMATO, transport companies, Apapa local government officials, and traffic regulatory agencies. On business news, Nigeria 10 ECOWAS countries in debt threats, report says. A new report by the Nigerian Economic Summit Group and the Open Society Initiative for West Africa has disclosed that Nigeria and 10 other economic community of West African states countries are currently in debt stress based on debt sustainability analysis. The 10 other countries are Benin, Burkina Faso, Cape Verde, the Gambia, Ghana, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Niger, Senegal, and Togo. The report titled Debt Management, Restricting and Sustainability in ECOWAS was recently launched at Debt Management Office in Abuja. A copy of the report was obtained by a correspondent on Tuesday. According to the report, a financial crisis in Nigeria can threaten other countries in the ECOWAS region. On sports news, Anyashi Bag's National Productivity Award, chairman of Enyimba FC of Abia, Chief Felix Anyashi Agu, would tomorrow join other eminent Nigerians to receive the federal government's National Productive Order of Merit (NPOM) Award for 2019 and 2020. Labor and Productivity Minister Chief Chris Ngige, in a letter to the highly successful football administrator, stated that the award was being conferred on him based on his hard work, productivity, and excellency. Lastly, on foreign news, Al Jazeera journalist killed during Israel West Bank raid. Veteran Al Jazeera journalist Shirin Abu Akleh was shot dead Wednesday as she covered an Israeli army raid on Jenin refugee camp in occupied West Bank. The Qatar-based TV channel said Israeli force shot Abu Akleh, 51, deliberately in a cold blood, while Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett said it was likely that the Palestinian gunfire killed her. Abu Akleh, a Palestinian Christian who also had U.S. citizenship, was a prominent figure in Channel Arabic news service. Another Al Jazeera journalist, producer Al Samudi, was wounded in the incident, the broadcaster added. An AFP photographer at the scene said Abu Akleh was wearing a press flag jacket while she was shot. The photographer reported that Israeli forces were firing in the area and then saw Abu Akleh's body lying on the ground. The Israeli army confirmed it by conducting an operation in Jenin refugee camp early Wednesday, but family denied it had deliberately targeted the reporter. The army said there will be an exchange of fire between suspects and security forces that was investigating the event and looking into the possibility that journalists were hit by the Palestinian gunmen. The U.S. ambassador to Israel, Tom Nedis, tweeted that he was very sad to learn of the deaths of the American and Palestinian journalists Shirin Abu Akleh and called for a thorough investigation into the circumstances of her death. The Israeli Prime Minister said Palestinian gunmen in the camp were likely responsible for Abu Akleh's death. And that's all we have on the Gallery TV News Update at 4. I'm Eleje Chidima. For more information, do visit us via social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Do enjoy the rest of the day.
The life of people not only in Niger State, but also
Still a chance for Iron Robin. It's
Let him shoot, let him shoot. No problem.
That the government upgrades
the vision is the long overstatement of ethics.
He accused the APC lead